So 08 Accord just got in, and I go to move it, and has a rattle. Check engine light and an oil light. Oh gosh. I think that other noise, that's the fan. Oh gosh. Okay. So part of the noise was the radio, and the other noise was definitely like the rattle noise during the startup was the engine. There's no oil in here. So I did inform the owner that the oil light was blatantly blinking at her, and she was like, the oil level was low, and she, like, as if she was surprised. She knew. And this is thousands of dollars of replacement. And how I know? Because I just did one. I just replaced the motor just like this in a 2013 CRV. So I know how much it's gonna cost to replace the motor for this car. She ran out of oil, just like this car was low on oil. Normally what happened, it'll jump timing. It didn't in this case, but I can about guarantee you that plastic retainer, the guide is probably broken. And if I change the oil and it's broken, and this is eventually gonna have the same end result as that other motor. Let's check and see how much oil is in here. Yeah. 0 oil on the dipstick. It's nothing. So it's like in this particular case, shit, you might as well just change the oil filter, top the oil off, and call it a day, because there's nothing in there. I can about guarantee you the amount that we're probably going to take out is literally like a quarter of a quart of oil. Let's get up under the car and change the oil. So it's actually been over an hour since the last clip. I had wound up going to the parts store to get an oil filter. This is a Honda oil filter. I thought it was Honda blue. I didn't know if it was actually Honda. So I'm gonna let this, oh wow, that is dirty oil. It doesn't even have a black coat to it. It actually looks grayish. Yes, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, look at that. It has a gray tint to it. I wonder if that's copper or any other metal from the bearings or from the timing chain. The filter is the gasket is pretty pliable. So it's not delinquent on the oil change. It's going to have an oil consumption problem, like a lot of the other Hondas I've been dealing with. In this particular year, so it'd be the K24 Z3. All right, so here's the main shebang. Let's see how much oil comes out the actual oil pan. So I had plenty of time to sit there and accumulate at the bottom and settle since I've been gone for an hour. Here goes nothing. That's it. Yeah, that pressure didn't help. Ain't no pressure because it ain't no oil in there. Yeah, I would say we're probably running up on a quart that has came out right now. It wasn't that much. I'm actually starting to grow a little concerned because of the amount of oil coming out of here and the oil light that actually popped on. So is it actually a, because this is actually pretty decent for to have a oil light come on. I expect a little more. I'm sorry, a little less to come out. This is quite a bit. I'm gonna put the weight that's supposed to go in here is a 020. I'm gonna put a 530 in it, just to help mitigate the oil consumption problem. And I'm gonna show her how to change the oil, so she's gonna be aware of it, and let her do her thing. That's all I can do is lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink. Y'all know I frequently patronize O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I'm going to use a 57356 oil filter. Honda only uses 2 of these from the part store. There you go. It's 57356 or 51334 from O'Reilly's. And these are the only 2 oil filters Honda uses. I've replaced thousands of these. You can question the quality of it, but I've never had a oil filter fail, I want to say. I mean, I think there might have been one out of the thousands I've done, but I've never had on a regular occasion, I never had any problems. Torque to fuel. All right. Yeah, I'm not disappointed with the amount of oil that came out. So here's the oil. I say that color is just what concerns me. It's got like a metallic color in it. And I don't know if the camera picks all that stuff up. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if it picks all of it up, but it does definitely have a metallic color. I'm not sure, like the swirl and stuff. Oh gosh. Uh-oh. Yep. Look at that. Metal. Well, and even down there, look at the bottom. Yeah, I don't think the camera's gonna pick that up. But that's metal. Yeah, she did a good job on that one. I hope her motor survives. Oh, I thought it called for a 020. It's a 520 that goes in here. Sorry. I guess I was wrong. The newer ones that I do, the 2013s and up, these, they call for 020. This is a 5W20. I'm still putting the 530 in here. This is just a container. This does not contain actually 5W20 oil. I'm just using it as a container. This is a 530 I'm putting in there. I wonder if I got it right the first time. Let's see. Yeah, it's right there at it. Well, I'm gonna hold it upside down now, so gravity's gonna take its course. It's full. Oil is very clean. Let's see if I hold it upside down. Well, the right side up. Well, it's not going to show. Nah, I can't show it now. The oil's clean though, because I just put fresh oil in it, obviously. Gosh. All right, so I'm going to start it up and see what happens. I expect to rattle until the oil reach its locations. I mean, it's a dry oil filter. I did not put oil in the oil filter. As you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. If putting oil in the oil filter was so necessary. By logic, this engine should destroy itself. How about that? I put a dry oil filter in there. You guys, the old school guys that like to pour oil into oil filters, this should coincide with your logic of how it destroys things. Should. So I expect it to rattle a little bit until the oil reaches locations with the timing components and the actuating, anything that's actuating, like the sprocket, and it'll subside within a matter of a second and a half or so, and we should be fine. Let's see if the oil light continues to stay on or if it goes off. So being that it took about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to subside that rattle, for the rattle to go away, this is an indication that there is some internal damage. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if that guide, the rail guide is broken and it had the common BBT sprocket issue. And I wouldn't be surprised if the oil pump is weak. Let's see if the oil light's on. So the check engine light is on. Oil pressure light is off, and again, being that it had an excessive rattle for a prolonged period of time, this engine's hurt, and I won't be surprised. Let me see where the oil life is on here. So 30%. So it took, if Honda replaced the oil around 100%, and about 70% it was severely low. This car definitely has a oil consumption issue, more significant than it can hold between oil change intervals. Let me reset this. I'm just going to hold this reset button until the lights start flashing, and then I'm going to let off, and then I'm going to push it back again after 3 pulses. So I'm not surprised that this engine is going to have some internal damage. The good thing is it still works. Just let off and I pushed it back again. And she, like I said, she's just going to have to keep check on the oil while she's driving the car. Well, let me get my scan tool. Let me check the check engine light, because I do have to throw some front brakes on here, and we can go on about our life. So I'm just going to go into the generic portion. We have 3 codes found. I wouldn't be surprised if we just have misfires and some VTEC issues because of the low oil. Could be P0340 or something like that, something timing related. Yep. Okay, so we do have timing codes. Yeah, this is all oil related, so no misfires, no big deal. P011, yeah, over advance. Rocker arm actuator stuck on bank 1. So yeah, that's all that's going to be. So if your oil's low and you get timing codes, check your oil level if you get timing codes, because that tensioner needs to be pressurized to keep pressure on that timing chain. And if it don't, it'll cause some timing issues. Just like the Nissans. Check that, because the Nissans, they'll get like a cam position sensor code, and that's just the indication the oil level's low. Let's see. I doubt if it's usually to retard the timing. It's not going to, if I recall properly, because of how it is. Maybe it'll advance it or retard it because it turns clockwise. So I think I swear I thought it retarded it. Either way, it might advance it for all I know. So I think we're good on that. I did say I was going to look for an oil pressure sensor, but I don't think that's going to be inside the generic portion for the live data, because normally I don't get that information. It's just generic. Let's see though. Alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna get I'm just gonna make one sweep down here because normally I'll overlook some stuff. But I'm not going to see anything oil related. Yeah, like I said, you just get the basic necessities with the generic portion, nothing in depth. So I got the brakes knocked out. That went smoothly. And just a regular brake job, pad slap basically. So the car was sitting for another hour and a half. I'm gonna start it up again after I check this oil level. Make sure we're in good shape. It's right just shy below the dot. It's like really shy. I can put just an eighth of a quarter in there real quick. You know, what I really want to see is how bad it rattles. That's ultimately why I took my time getting the brakes changed and letting the oil bleed off from the actuating component, because I want to see if it'll rattle for another 2.5, 3 seconds. Yeah, it still rattled pretty hard, more than what I'm comfortable with. And what happens, like I said, is the actuators. Again, I got one laying around. Yeah, this thing right here, this came off the last motor. And this is what fails. This goes on the intake side. If I recall, probably, I think I wrote intake on here. But this is what fails. And they'll cause an excessive rattle, especially if the oil has been ran so severely low, because it actuates and those fingers will damage. Sometimes they'll compromise. I swear I've done a video where they broke. But also, in addition to this, it could be the timing chain, the pressurization of the tensioner and the components. When it pressurizes, during that phase, it'll raise up and down, to oscillate, and it'll slap up against that reel, and there's no plastic there. It could be that. It could be a worn timing chain. It could be several things. But typically, you know, that you're probably hearing this rattle in the morning time. So either way, it's got some problems. She shouldn't have ran it low on oil, and I'm gonna show her how to check the oil when she get here. And it's on paper that she should check her oil every fill up, so it's not like she don't know. So I'm not responsible for anything that happens, obviously, because I have informed her, and it's in the owner's manual. So people should take the necessary obligations to read their owner's manual, but nobody do. I don't blame them. But checking your oil levels are basic necessities for these vehicles. Just like the car, the Nissan, it came in, no oil, sludge buildup. This promotes sludge buildup, not just from inadequate oil change and holding oil, but loss of oil, because that oil can't wash that sludge off on the side of the wall. So we'll see what happens with this vehicle in the future. If anything happened, I'll definitely update, but I think we're in good standings now. Work is full of oil. She can drive for another, I would say about 3,000 miles before she needs to check it. But definitely she's going to need to make note of checking her oil. But if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed how the original's going to work. See you next one.